Okay, this is part 2. You need to go back and look at part 1. I'll leave it up. YouTube took me down despite a very strong internet connection. There's no other programs being running on this computer. I'm only using 10% or less of my CPU. 30 frames per second coming out of my open source program. And there were, somebody over there is just messing with me. Like I say, it takes the wind out of your sails. And you wonder why I get like these, flutter, fib, whatever stuff. It's like I'm walking on eggshells for no reason. I'm telling you a story about going to the grocery store, man. What is the problem? Like I said, terms of service works 2 ways. You do not have the right to take somebody off if they're not in violation of your terms of service. In fact, you're in violation of your own terms of service. Now stop it before I seek legal action against you. I will find out who you are, who did this, and you will lose your job. All right? I still have many connections in Silicon Valley. I've been on the internet since 1985. All right? Okay? I know very influential people, including many VCs and people involved in high places. I choose to live the life I live because I just like it this way. So stop it. This is directed at YouTube Studio, and whatever Stu just thinks that is sitting there giggling and laughing and thinking this is funny. All right? Don't do it. It's illegal. They just knocked me off again. It says no data over here, but I'm broadcasting at nearly 3,000 kilobytes per second, and YouTube says it's receiving no data. You understand, that's not algorithmic. That's some giggling, look at me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you'll never find us. So on top of all the people that this show that I'm talking about in the title of the show, they're killing us and driving us mad for profit. All right. Then we have that whole generation of the Peter Pan set, right? That just are just clueless and just totally whacked. The school system just totally whacked them out. Well, anyway, I'm going to get into this story just so I could finish this story in case you just tuned in.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Check out the opening of the other one and watch how it just ended, how they just did that. Froze me and then cut me off. So they'll probably do if they do the same with this, it happens, it happens. I'm not coming back a third time. So I walk down the grocery store. I'll try to get this thing out. And I'm in there and I'm buying the things I normally buy. I mean, I'm like set in my ways. I live my life. You like the things you like and you don't like the things you don't like. You reach a point. It's no different than using the same kind of toothpaste, or eating a certain brand of something. You find something over so many years that you like, things that you dislike, and you go, these are my likes and dislikes, and I'm going to use such and such. So there I am, with the small shopping cart. Finally, that supermarket, it's a small supermarket, and they used to have these giant shopping carts. They finally got some smaller ones. So I'm pushing my small little shopping cart through because I'm not going to buy a lot of stuff. And I'm getting something like some artichokes in brine, which are healthy. Different things. But I'm looking at the prices, and the prices on some of these things are ridiculously high. Like, hand soap used to be like the liquid hand soap with the antibacterial hand soap. I'll use that in my upstairs bathroom, the sink. The pump stuff, And it used to be like 4 for $5 or something. You understand? So it was like less than $1 kind of type of deal or whatever. It was like $1.99. It was twice the price. It was like almost $2. There were other items I looked at that I had to get it. I mean, for right now, I guess I'll go back to bar soap. Go to the Dollar Tree and just start using bar soap at the counter. I mean, those pump things are convenient and clean. I was using bar soap, and I got this this tray and thing, little soap dish and stuff. But, it gets caked up with soap and stuff because it just inevitably the soap dries up, and you can never, it's like, But, out of convenience sakes, I'll probably just go back to buying cheap, generic Ivory soap or something, a hand soap, and just, I don't know. Maybe I won't use a soap dish so I don't have to worry about why. I don't know. But yeah, so I systematically, the various items, I'm not going to get into what it is. I can't think off the top of my head. But I mean, I buy some fresh fruits and vegetables and a few things, like I say, some canned things, like if it's in brine, or if I buy a can of sauce that says ingredients, tomatoes and citric acid, I mean, that's it. And it's a little can, or something like that. And I got something for my cat, some cat food, which those shelves are empty. People are saying the baby food shelves are empty. I noticed that like a previous visit that there was like even a sign on there. People can't get baby formula in some stores or certain types of baby food for their babies. Well, do you understand? That's now. What are people going to do? And the prices of certain things have now doubled. Now, I'm growing a garden, and hopefully do you understand the frustration with me with this rat, that these sewer people or this next door crazy lady next door, however, has brought that rat that comes over into my yard. It's not living in my yard, right? I keep a clean house and a clean yard. And I can even show you from that garage thing, I mean, in the winter it gets kind of clogged and messed up, and it does look kind of funky. But I mean, I keep it clean. I even have that garage has its own vacuum cleaner. And I got a carpet down in the front part where I work. So, they're killing, when I say they're killing us and driving us mad, do you understand what I'm talking about? And even this idea, what they're doing with YouTube and cutting me off and playing these games. So then while I was out, I went out to the backyard to like shore up my raised beds and the areas where I grow my, my serious foods, and I'm putting, scraps of wood, things I have. Like I say, I don't have, I can't go out there. The price of lumber and stuff like that's outrageous. I wanted to use these clear plastic things like I use on my greenhouse. It's like they're plastic rippled, type of sheets, that people use for roofs. It's not like corrugated, but I guess some people might call it that. But it's clear plastic. They were like $23 a sheet for like a 6-foot long sheet that's only 2 feet wide at like one of the box stores. I can't afford that. I could use about 8 of them. So I'm like, I'm not going to get that. And so I'm just using what I can. I'll post some pictures when I'm done this thing. But I'm using like little pieces of scrap wood. I have some of that stuff left over. Had a few of those pieces left over from when I built my little mini greenhouse. I have some scrap wood. I just about used, I think, all of that from when I ripped out a wall in my bathroom when I first moved here because I had to like enlarge the bathroom a little bit to put a vanity in it, a sink, because it just had a sink on. This is a 100-year-old house, and in those old houses, they used to sometimes just have the sink bolted to the wall, a sink in the wall, right? It was a nice sink and all. I ended up moving it downstairs because I have 1.5 baths, and the bath, the toilet, WC, whatever you want to call it, downstairs, just was a sink and a toilet, but it had the world's smallest sink. So I took the sink from upstairs. It was in the bathroom, which was a nice size sink, and I had the plumber, put it down here. But I had a rip down part of a wall. It wasn't a support wall, and anyway, so I had scraps from that, but not much. I think I just went through just about everything. And a friend of mine brought over some old siding he had left over from when his house was sided. I guess he was clearing out his garage. But I still have holes, because these critters could get through anything and climb under stuff. So I spent the better part of the morning just doing that kind of stuff, getting that started. I'm barely I might be a quarter of the way done. If I could get more materials, I could probably shore up those beds pretty good. But if the rat decides to move its attention to the food, then I'm screwed, right? That's the last thing you want, because just knowing it would get in, it's yet to be in there. It hasn't discovered it. Its focus is on the birdhouse, which was the purpose of me putting a birdhouse in to begin with. And if you're a gardener, do that to focus the birds on, and it's in the upper part of my yard, because I had a chipmunk too that was also coming into my yard over the years. They come in every year, and so the chipmunk would go to the bird feeder. But in the absence of the bird feeder, the birds, the chipmunks, they all go to the garden, right? They don't even care about eating the tomatoes, but they'll peck on it to get some moisture, water out of it and stuff. You see? And it's worked for me for about 6 years. But this year, they've been working on the sewer system, digging up the roads, and I've got this hoarding lady next door who's been I don't know what she's doing, but she moved all the stuff out of her house into her garage. And I think it was foodstuffs and things like that. And she probably already had rats in there. And one thing led to another, and they must have bred. So now, and you wonder why, it's like I go crazy.
This is insane.
No.
This is a nightmare. Must be a nightmare.
So anyway, then I got my delivery while I was out in the backyard from Instacart, which I can't say enough about. I'm not sponsored. I said in the first part, look, I'm not sponsored. I don't make any money on this. And you say, yeah, but you're hawking your books and yeah. Lucky if I make a penny on a song, and I'm lucky if I make 50 cents if you buy a book or a shirt or something like that. Trust me. And nobody's buying. And you should, because it's the only way to let other people know that you get it, that everything you know is wrong. You don't know what you don't know, and question them, then what? Or these sourpuss, angry people, trying to divide us. You have a shirt, be nice, right? In their face. But yeah, everything's upside down and inside out, and it's insane, and it's crazy. And people thinking, oh, Elon Musk is going to save the day with Twitter. It's like, what is Twitter anymore? I haven't been on Twitter in 2 years. I post a link to these things on. But I mean, what good is banter? Discussions back and forth with bots, half of them, or just people who are ideologues who aren't going to change their mind anyway. It's like, it's like arguing with a 2-year-old child. Just give the kid the ice cream cone, You know what I mean? You can't, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, so I did that, I got the things I needed, and I spent some time. Then I decided I'm going to plant these tomatoes. And I had 4 tomato plants that I grew in January, in my in my porch, it's really a mud room. It's just a walk-through, but there's a closet in there that I took the door off, and the door that was on that closet ended up putting on my mini greenhouse. I'm one of these ultimate guys of, like, I reuse everything. Nothing goes to waste. I don't have to recycle because I am recycling. In other words, everything I build is usually is something repurposed, which is a good way, a good way to do things. And you'd be surprised, repurposing things, how far you can get. And it's and you just got to use a little bit of human creativity, which we all have, right? So, I put 4 tomato plants in and 1 pepper plant. I'm not sure what that pepper plant is. It's got really big leaves on it, though. And I still have 1 or 2 things in the, I have a bunch of basil plants, in the greenhouse, which I'd like to give away to some people. I don't know. There's one person. I think there's one person in the neighborhood that watches this show. If you're watching this show, and if I don't know if you're growing basil, but I've got about, like, I can give you a couple basil starts. They're little seedlings in little packs. I mean, they're already up about this high. You're welcome to have them. Stop by and I'll just give them to you. I don't need that much basil. I'm going to put a few on my front porch. I have some planters on my front porch. I usually put flowers on there, but I think I might put herbs in those this year, just to have the convenience to walk out in the front porch and, if I'm cooking something, to just grab some basil. I have so much. I have 2 oregano bushes in my backyard. They survive self-seeded. They call it volunteer seeds or whatever. They're bushes. I mean, it's like this much oregano on one side of the yard and this much oregano on the other side of the yard. I've got cilantro that's like already, so high. I mean, it's, I'm really happy with my garden. That's why I don't want it to be destroyed and ruined by a rodent, So it's one of those things that my subconscious is like eating at me on, and I'm trying to just talk it out here. I'm pretending you're the shrink. Hey, Doc, help me out, man. I'm losing my mind. I'm ready for the farm, The funny farm, They're coming to take me away. So, anyway, that was my day yesterday. So after I did that, I sat down on my lounge chair next to my mini greenhouse, and I just soaked up the sun, and it was like summer. It was, I'm feeling good. And I came in the house, took a shower, sat in the chair, watched a couple of YouTube things that I've been following, and I was feeling really good. That sun just, it activates so many different receptors in your body, and it's great. So anyway, that was my day. But, I'm watching some of these YouTube things, and, reasonable. I don't watch the nonsense. Do you know what I mean? I'm not into the pundits, the people who are just reading other people's news and that kind of stuff. What I call the YouTube millionaires. They're just these people. I think they're broadcasters. They're not doing like what I'm doing here. This is YouTube. YouTube is like a vlog. It's some dude in his place, just talking to you about his life and about, what's going on and his take on different things. I'm not trying, I have all this stuff because I'm, it's just what I am. I'm a writer, so I write books. I'm a songwriter. I write songs. I'm a filmmaker. I went to film school. I make, I do videos. And, and I'm a graphic designer. Like I said, I'm the son of a son of the son of a printer. It's like it's in my blood, graphic. So I've got this graphical thing, and I've designed these shirts, and I've put it on clothing. But I'm not trying to convince you of anything or sell you anything in that regard, other than saying, you know, buy my book. But I mean, I'm not trying to sell you an ideology, is what I'm saying. It's like I don't care. I'm not political. I don't care what side of the so-called aisle you're on or where your head's at, right? I'm just talking about life in general and my perception of what's going on. And man, it just seems like everybody's crazy and everything's upside down and inside out. And I think they're killing us and driving us mad. And whether it's intentional or unintentional, for profit, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, it's happening. We went through that yesterday. Statistically, the insurance companies are saying people 18 to 64, the death rate is has increased by 40%. That's like a super ridiculous anomaly. This is post-COVID, okay? That's like insane. 10% would be a catastrophic thing that happens once every 200 years, according to the insurance companies executives. Some CEO, I showed the clip yesterday, that thing. But 40% is just unheard of. It's beyond belief, right? But you go to the store and look. And it's funny because for a while I was thinking, that's other people. But it finally made it to my little, I'm here at the edge of town, old industrial town on its way out. I mean, this city's been bankrupt, But it's here. It's here. So, what are you going to do? And yet the price they're going to start driving, so it's not just the processed food. No data, this stream will end. They're cutting me off. If this show ends, I will, I guess, talk to you tomorrow because I am not going to do this again. If you can still hear my voice, I don't think you can because oh, man. What is going on? Stream health, analytics. Stream is healthy. If you can hear me, if you can still hear my voice, I know this sounds ridiculous. It looks like my voice should be coming to you. I'm broadcasting enough kilobytes per second to get audio. But I will be, if this doesn't clear up within the next, 15 seconds, I guess this show's going to end. And I don't even know if I'll talk to you tomorrow. I might try to do a show from Rumble. There's no reason for this to happen. 4:21 a.m. There's nobody even, not even my neighbors are awake. I have a full, powerful internet connection. And YouTube is just doing this because they don't want this discussion out there. Anyway.
But each of them subservient to that monitor in his brain, that intruder which instructs, coordinates, protects the project.
This is insane. 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 insane. This is 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 insane.
If you're still there, I had gotten a thing saying that check. Now it says I have a good connection. It's actually contradicted itself in the stream health. It says your current bit rate was 2809 is lower than the recommended rate. We recommend you use a stream rate of 2500. So I was 300 over the recommended. Do you understand what's going on here? How the game they're playing? And now they're just saying, oh, I have a good connection. Not an excellent connection. Of course I have an excellent connection. I'm 400. And now it's a warning, your bit rate is so they're messing with me. How am I supposed to do a show like this? How am I supposed to do a show like this? 26 minutes into the show. Your current stream rate is 28, but you need a minimum, but we recommend you use a stream bit rate of 2,500 kilobytes per second. I'm 400 over it. I'm 400 over it. All right? Some gig. Imagine the type of person that, let's just end on this. Those type of giggly, goofy idiots. Now it says no data, but I'm broadcasting at 2,900 kilobytes per second, 30 frames per second. CPU on my computer is like 9.9%, less than 10%. Now it says I have an excellent connection. I'll continue for a little while longer. But could you believe they were doing this? Oh, no. I know. It's ridiculous, man. I don't know. And there's people out there worried about
Your
this.
papers, please.
I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff, man. Have you heard about the bird flu, too? Like that's pushing around all over the country now. So that's going to be the big fall thing. How much profit Big Pharma made, those numbers have come out. Everything is a big diversion, a big crazy thing. They're just driving people nuts. I don't know. Giving us processed food. Who knows? I heard that they're putting stuff in lettuce, man. That's why I'm growing my own lettuce. I get enough lettuce to feed an army. I don't care what I say anymore. It doesn't matter. If I talk about going to the grocery store, I forget what it was yesterday. They cut me off when I was talking about something like, I don't know, some ridiculously simplistic, like everyday life thing. This is my personal vlog, okay?
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Yeah, it's not. This isn't like some political show. I didn't even mention a politician. I'm talking about, the people that are, the corporatocracy that are killing us and driving people mad. And how everything they say is hypocrisy for profit, including YouTube Studio and whoever that giggly little person is that I wish some supervisor would find and fire, who messed with my stream twice. And you might watch this stream and you missed the whole intro and the whole way the show goes. In other words, this is like totally this is mayhem, right? Mayhem. We might as well, we were doing better stuff.
Back in time, 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 back in time.
Back in the 90s, man. When we had our own server and we're broadcasting with real media. YouTube is really bad, really bad. So, like I said yesterday, game over. I should have wore if I do this again, it'll be the game over hat. I've got to check in to see if Rumble is opened up live. I'll just broadcast live from Rumble. I guess I'll bite the bullet and pay the $10. I might only guess I'll have to do a show once a week or something. They don't want me on here. They don't want just truth there. It's so weird when you see the low numbers, but like a lot of people have been telling me, more and more people every day, they're saying, no, those numbers aren't real. What they're doing that, it has to do with trending and stuff. In other words, if they put the true numbers of how many people are watching this show, then more people would watch the show, because that's what people want to do, is they want to watch what other people watch. And so YouTube's trying to pretend this isn't popular. I think some of my shows have gotten over 1 million views, and they've put it down like I've gotten 12. Nobody gets 3 views. Nobody gets 1 view. There are shows, if you go to my site right now, you'll see it has 1 view. And that 1 view is me, because I used a different device to upload the link. And I wasn't, I guess, logged in, and it was me. It's 4:29 a.m. in the morning. There's 2 billion active users on YouTube. There's a whole live section on YouTube. And guess what? It's saying I have 0 viewers. But it's interesting. They use the word concurrent viewers, right? Instead of just viewers, right? That's interesting. So, I don't know, man. What can I say?
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
Shitty, basically shitty. Because YouTube's fucking with me, right? Might as well use profanity. See, that's the other thing. It's like you could say what people say, all these crazy things. There's all these weird videos that should be banned, like basically borderline, illegal, that YouTube has on. All kinds of crazy stuff. But like a guy talking about going to the supermarket and the price of something doubling, and they decide to cut you off. How long can you hide the truth? That's my question. When your family members and other people next to you are dying, and it's not from the plague, it's just they're dying from things that nobody has an explanation from, other than processed food. When 40,000 people a week in the U.S. approximately are dying of things that they're basically processed foods that the FDA approved. Okay? When there's a couple thousand murders a week that go unsolved, and an unbelievable amount of crimes, all right, happening in this country, the media is not reporting it. Instead, they're reporting some stupid war in Ukraine. All right? The Donbass region is Russia. They're Russians, and the Ukrainian army are fascist neo-Nazis. Okay? We're fighting and we're funding the wrong side. Since when does America give weapons to neo-Nazis? I thought, all of our parents and grandparents fought in World War II against the Nazis. The Ukrainians are fucking Nazis. And the media is hiding that fact. This isn't some skinhead group of like 12, guys drinking beer, shooting beer cans in their backyard with a swastika tattoo. No. This is an organized army with uniforms. All right? And that's who we're sending military weapons to. War-profiteers. And meanwhile, China's surrounding Taiwan. Read my book, because that's where the real war is going to be, over in Asia. You see, look, I'm talking about this stuff. Oh, well, weren't you cutting me off when I'm telling the truth about that? This is freaking nuts, man. This is freaking nuts. This country is freaking nuts. And if you don't understand that Western civilization's fallen, and this is the former United States, and Donald Trump isn't going to save America. Okay? He's not. He was president of the United States for 4 years. They impeached him twice, and everyone worked against him, including the media. Do you think they're going to let him do something? Okay? Come on, the guy in office right now is a marionette. Just like everybody in Congress. Oh, we'll take back Congress in 2022. So what? They're going to be like beholden. They're going to be marionettes to big tech, big pharma, big ag, the Fed, right? The war profiteers, the military contractors. Do you understand? Who do you think supports their campaigns? They're indebted to them. They're beholden to them. And then what about all those millions of bureaucrats working in all those alphabet agencies who have basically been running this country for the past, since the last guy. See, there was a guy who came out who was going to try to break up a lot of that stuff. You remember what happened to him, right? Wake up, man. They're killing us and young people are dying. The pandemic was taking out all of the older people, okay? And now if you follow that story, and then all these coincidental explosions at food processing plants, airplanes crashed into one or two of them, right? I mean, come on, it's downright nuts. See, you gotta stop watching ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, Fox, and all that stuff, man. MSNBC and all these crazy people, even the financial networks, Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, all these places, they're all into some kind of weird, wacko, la-la land. I think half those people don't know the truth, even. It's not even that they're nefarious. They're just totally out of touch with reality. It's like this 0.004 CO2 thing they keep shoving down people's throat. Meanwhile, the sun, is in charge of the climate. Our magnetic field is weakening. The poles are shifting. What do you think's causing all this stuff? There's 50-some active volcanoes right now on the planet. This planet is cooling. All our time has come. The days are ending, man. And I'm not talking some biblical thing here. All right? You just got to look around. These people want to take, this is like the Georgia Guidestones thing. They want to take 8 billion people on the planet and take it down to to 500 million. They don't want to kill half the people. They want to kill most of the people. The laugh is going to be when the cataclysm comes, when the sun, the 12,000-year cycle occurs and that, takes them out. They think they're going to be safe in their bunkers. The molten lava is going to come up and fill their little hole, little rat holes. Yeah, man, I've had it with this thing. I've had it. It's like you take the joy out of living. That's what I'm saying. I started the first part of this show, part 1, if you want to go back to that, which was a little bit more normal, talking about happiness. In yesterday's show, I was talking about happiness. It's hard to be happy when you're walking on eggshells. You're keeping one eye on the frickin' stream connection, another eye on your kilobytes per second output. You're looking at the stream health itself, okay? I'm going to let me just screen capture this if they don't cut me off in time. All right? let me put this in the feature image here, just so you can like see what I'm talking about. Go to the desktop. All right, I'm going to bring this up. See, this is how YouTube Studio works. All right. All right. Now, and you know, so anyway, so let's get down here. Now, this is when I had an excellent connection. I just took it now because I'm broadcasting fine. But here's where at 4:22 a.m., warning. This error, YouTube not receiving enough, you know, then the stream is healthy, no data here. But this one is the funny one. Warning, 4:22. These are all at the same. The stream current bit rate, actually I'm pointing to this and I realize you can't see it. Anyway, look at the one that says 4:22 warning. It says the stream's current bit rate 2809.10 kbps is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 2500 kbps. You see what I'm saying? I was 300 above. So the only way I could have been cut off and they cut me off was as if a person over at YouTube just cut me off. Right? My stream rate was 300 above what they're saying is the recommended. And actually, it was fluctuating above. That was just a snapshot at that time. I was at 29, 3,000, over 3,000 averaging. So I was like 500 kbps above their recommended stream rate. You understand what I'm talking about here? You know, I had to show you that because people don't believe. Oh, I don't believe you. Source. Now, I tell you, this country's gone nuts, and I to fucking do. All right, what am I supposed to fucking do?